amazing on this day, and that you are experiencing success in every area of your life. Do me a favor, hit the share button. Make sure you share, tag, text somebody, call somebody, tell them they need to be here right now, because I believe that I'm going to share with you today is going to revolutionize your entire life. Make sure you are hitting the subscription button. What's up? If you are not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting on? Make sure you hit the subscription button, and then make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted each and every single time new content is made available for you. In today's session, I want to talk about breaking free of a mediocre mindset. And I think it is absolutely pertinent that we grasp this and that we consider it a necessary mandate if we're going to obtain our goals, if we're going to obtain certain levels of achievement and accomplishments that we've set out to do. Then it's going to be a result of us breaking free from mediocre mindsets. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is that nobody I know aspires to be ordinary. Every one of us, at some point, if we don't have it now, at some point we had aspirations of being great, of being successful, of having certain lifestyles, of having certain notoriety. And somewhere along the way, life imposed some things on us that we did not expect. And consequently, it caused an unexpected course shift for us. And many people simply find themselves meandering, wandering aimlessly with no set goal, purpose, destination, objective, or end result in mind. And whenever you're at a place where you're simply meandering, that is generally the precursor for living a mediocre existence. At what point in your life did living a mediocre existence become an acceptable form of life for you? You remember there was a time when your dreams were lofty, your ideals about life were amazing. There was a time you could hardly contain yourself because you had so much enthusiasm and optimism for life and the next chapter, and seeing how the big picture of your life would eventually develop and unfold very favorably for you. But somehow we've allowed ourselves to downgrade our wants, downgrade our desires and what we set out to do. And we've nestled into this comfortable place of mediocrity. And now you find yourself living a life that is very routine, very monotonous. It's not really inspiring. It's not stimulating you. It's not provoking you to do something at a greater level than you had previously set out to do. And you find yourself in this very monotonous cycle. I don't know about you, but ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that I certainly have some fear about, and that is fearing living a life that is too small for me. I fear not accomplishing certain goals and things at the level of my capacity. And I fear looking back on life saying, I wish I had done more. I wish I had put more effort in it. I wish I had pushed myself even harder. And so having those very healthy fears, that it kind of helps you to safeguard your mind from accepting mediocrity as a form of existence for you. When I talk about living in mediocrity, to be mediocre simply means a low quality value, or means to be barely adequate, undistinguishable, which means that you do nothing noteworthy, you do nothing that has any degree of merit or significance, nothing that is substantially impactful to you and the people around you. And until you stop allowing yourself to simply meander through life, no aim, you don't have to be at any particular place. You have no particular deadlines, goals, mile markers, any of that in place. And you find yourself in a place where you are simply meandering. Because what I think you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that mediocrity is self inflicted. No one makes you mediocre. No one sentences you to a state of mediocrity. Mediocrity is self inflicted. And it is critical because what I want to say to you, I want you to think about it for a while, because what mediocrity really is, it's an insult to your mind's God-given capacity. Let me let that sink in for a moment. Mediocrity is an insult to your God-given mental capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever mediocrity is present and it is a pattern in your life, it is an indication, hear this really carefully, it is an indication as to how grossly you have underestimated your potential. That whenever there is this consistent pattern, or really a lifestyle of mediocrity, it is an indication of how grossly you have underestimated your potential. You have underestimated the gravity of your gift. You have underestimated the extent of your worldwide impact that you were predestined to have, and certainly are gifted enough to have it. Being gifted does not mean that you're not operating in a place of mediocrity. Because you can have gifts, skill, mindsets, talents, anointings. You can have all of that. But unless your mindset is one that is very driven by purpose, driven by time, realizing that I only have a certain period of time to do this, to get this accomplished, to make this move, to make this happen in my life, and then you understand that mediocrity is simply when I have underestimated my potential. Ladies and gentlemen, no extraordinary results will come from mediocre effort. I think that has to be clear in our mind, because I keep running into people who want extraordinary lifestyles, who want extraordinary opportunities, but what they are endeavoring to experience does not line up with the effort they are willing to contribute to obtain certain lifestyles and certain places in their life. And so it is critical that you understand that no extraordinary results will ever come from mediocre effort. Hear this, ladies and gentlemen. If you have to fear something, fear mediocrity. Let me say that to you again. If you have to fear something, fear mediocrity. Don't fear trying or attempting. Fear being in a place of mediocrity. Sometimes our fear is misplaced. We're afraid to try. We're afraid to step out. We're afraid to attempt to do something new, different, daring, something that defies what everybody else is doing. When the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to get up every single day of your life and say, if I have to fear anything, it's going to be mediocrity. I'm going to get up every day. I'm afraid of scoring less than my capacity. I'm afraid of hitting marks that are nowhere near the extent of what I am really capable of. And so, if fear is going to be a dynamic in your life, then if there's one thing you need to fear, that is fearing mediocrity, being in the same place, doing the same thing. This time, 6 months from now, this time a year from now, you are still settled into a place that does not remotely, I mean, doesn't even come close to the level and the scale of potential that has been invested on the inside of you. And so, if we understand that, then, ladies and gentlemen, one of the surest signs that you are living in a place of mediocrity, hear this, is there's no risk involved. The real risk lies in riskless living. Let me say that to you again. Your real risk lies in riskless living. You keep getting up every day, and your moves have to be calculated and comfortable. Now, of course, I am not dismissing the necessity of being calculated, but I'm referring to people who only make moves within the confines of their comfort zone. I can do this. I can step out maybe this far, but anything farther than that, I'm really not comfortable with. And so the absence of risk is one of the surest signs of that you're having or you're operating within a mediocre mindset. Because if you're going to do something extraordinary, then it's going to cause you to move out of your comfort zone. What you want will never be in your comfort zone. It's going to demand some stretching out of you. It's going to demand that you learn how to adjust, that you learn how to adopt, even in unfamiliar surroundings and territories, so that you can accomplish something worthwhile. The real risk lies in riskless living. Ladies and gentlemen, in life, it is between choosing risk and striving for greatness, or risking nothing and being certain of mediocrity. Let me let that sink in for a moment. In life, while you're pursuing your purpose, your dreams, your goal, your ambitions, your aspirations, higher salaries, greater lifestyles, whatever it is you are in pursuit of, in life, it's between choosing the risk or maintaining your course and striving for that level of greatness, or simply deciding I'm not going to risk anything, which means that you are certainly going to be no more than average, or you're not going to be any more than mediocre in your life. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this very well, because there are going to be moments of your life where it's going to feel simply easy to just remain where you are. This is comfortable. I know this. This is familiar to me. But you must passionately, hear me, protest mediocrity every single day of your life. Let me tell you, because life is going to bombard you every single day with this objective being. Why don't you just stay in your place? Why don't you just accept the minimum wage? Why don't you just live in whatever it is that you can probably afford at the moment and just be done with it? Don't kick against the system. Stop all the dreaming. Stop all of the declarations that you're making over your life. But you got to passionately protest mediocrity. You got to get up every single day and say, I'm bigger than this. I'm better than this. I deserve more. And once you have that personal conviction on the inside of you, it becomes very difficult to stop you when you start protesting very passionately against mediocrity, saying, well, maybe I may be here right now, but this is not the final destination. There is more for me to see, more for me to experience. There are more wins for me to chalk up in my win column. There are more things for me to experience out of life and out of God. But you got to get up every day and protest mediocrity. I deserve. When was the last time you heard yourself say, I deserve more? I should have more. I want bigger. I want better for my life, for my family, for my future. But you must understand, sometimes people stay in these mediocre positions in their life because they don't want to necessarily protest where they are. Again, because they've become content with it. Now, please hear me, ladies and gentlemen. Contentment is the most counterproductive course to mediocrity. If you want to know what's the quickest route to mediocrity, it's contentment. It is to get to a place in your life where you are so comfortable, because keep in mind, it took you a while to even get here. And simply because here was better than where you came from, sometimes you'd rather put on hold going through the things that are necessary to get even to a higher place or a higher level. And so you simply say to yourself, this is good enough. I hope to God that you never come to the conclusion that where you are is good enough another day in your life. Good enough is the enemy of great. Yeah, where you are is better than where you came from, but there is still another level. There is still more in store for you and more for you to accomplish out of your life. Hear this: fatigue is the price you pay for striving, mediocrity is the price for never getting tired. Now, I want to work on that just for a few moments. When you are striving to do something, it's going to certainly cause some level of fatigue, because where you're going, if everybody could get there, it would be easy. But the fact that it's a little hard, it's difficult. In fact, sometimes you have to try to get to the place that you're trying to go without any support, without any cheering, without any resources. And so trying to get to a better place in your life, it will certainly cause some degree of fatigue. But mediocrity is the price of never getting tired. People who are trying to do nothing exceptional, they're never tired because they're not exerting anything. It's not costing them any brain energy, any creative energy. It's not costing them any effort. And so while they are not tired, they're making no traction either. But you have to stay your course, because fatigue is the price you pay for next level living. Yes, I'm going to put in the extra hours. Yes, I'm going to study more than everybody else is. Yes, I'm going to be the most prepared in the room, and that will fatigue you. But you can't allow the fatigue to cause you to forfeit the future that you know you're entitled to. That you know, some of you are only moments away from the greatest portion of your life that you've ever experienced. But you can't allow the fatigue to cause you to forfeit living at the next level that you've always anticipated in your life. Because you've got to dismantle this mediocre mindset. That's a mindset that says that is always that you find yourself always allowing yourself to accept less than you're capable of as the best you can do. Have you ever heard yourself get to a juncture in life and say, well, I did the best I can do. I'm doing the best I can. And generally, if you're at the point where you're saying that, you still got some more to give. There's something on reserve. You just got to push beyond the pressure. You got to push beyond, again, that fatigue. You got to push beyond the disappointment of not getting there, perhaps when you thought you would have gotten there. You got to push back. You got to push through people abandoning you. You got to push back on people pulling support from you that they pledged to you. But at the end of the day, how much longer are you going to allow yourself to accept less than you are capable of and keep saying, well, it's the best I can do? No, it's not. I'm here talking to somebody this day because I want to tell you that's not the best you can do. There's some things you can take out of your line of focus that will give you more energy toward this. There's some people you can disconnect from right now that will give you more of a center, more energy to pursue the things that you have in terms of your objective. And so you got to get to a place in your life where you never settle for mediocrity. You never let good enough become good enough. It's not that I am devaluing my progress or I am failing to celebrate the incremental movements in my life, but I can't allow good enough to be good enough. There's always more. No matter what I've accomplished today, I'm going to bed, I'm going to get up the next day, and I'm going to charge that day because I realize that no matter what I got out of yesterday, today has more to give me. There's new prospects, there's more possibilities. I have even greater degrees of potential this day. And so I will never allow good enough to be good enough another day in my life. And I hope you hear me. And I hope you will start making the necessary adjustments in your life. Because if you're going to do anything significant, anything that has long-term sustainable value in your life, then you have to break free from that mediocre mindset. Hear me, ladies and gentlemen. Only mediocrity escapes criticism. That is why when I hear people and they say things like, well, nobody's criticizing me really, nobody's really attacking what I'm doing and where I'm going. It could be that if what you're doing is not drawing any critics, then it's not big enough to be considered a significant enough threat. Because it's only mediocrity that's going to escape criticism. Anybody doing something noteworthy, of value, of long-term success and sustainability, it's going to draw criticism. People are going to say, who do you think you are? What gives you the right to be attempting to do something like that? How are you going to get the money? How are you going to get the resources? How can you get this off the ground? People always try to criticize your endeavor and your desire for advancement. But I want you to understand, you cannot downscale your vision, your goals, just so you won't be criticized. If the only way you're not criticized is that you're not doing anything, and it's only mediocrity that escapes criticism. Show me somebody who's going somewhere very significant and very great. They're getting arrows shot at them from every angle. They're attacking them. They're trying to distract them, to disrupt their intention. But when you have, and you got the goods to do something extraordinary, you're going to be criticized. Stop quitting because you criticize. You got to learn how to look at the criticism as confirmation that the path that you're on is about to pay off. If you knew how important that was right there, it would cause you to change how you approach tomorrow. You have to understand that once you are convinced in your heart and your spirit that you have been predestined and predetermined to do something notable on the planet, then you got to be prepared for the fact that it's going to draw criticism. Stop crying so much. Critics or confirmation that the path you're on is about to pay off huge for you. I don't even know who you are, what city you're in, what state you're in, what zip code you're in, area code you're in, but I do know that this is about to pay off big for you. Don't cry. Stop complaining because they're criticizing you. Wipe your eyes long enough to realize that the criticism is really confirmation that the path that you're on is about to pay off huge for you. Ladies and gentlemen, mediocrity always attacks excellence. It always attacks intentions and to have great exploits and people who are endeavoring to do something that perhaps they don't even have a point of reference to right now, but they know they've heard something. There's a sense internally that I'm supposed to be among the top earners in this country. I'm supposed to be among the top influencers in the world. And when you have that kind of conviction and you carry your life that way, it's going to draw criticism from everywhere. Not just your enemies either. You'd be surprised how what you're doing will draw criticism from even your family. I wish I had more time for that, but people you thought would be happy for you just by nature tend to have a problem with you because you're daring to do something that's against the grain that nobody in the families has ever done. Nobody's that I know has ever accomplished a feat like that. And they'll try to convince you that that kind of feat is too much of an undertaking. But the fact that they are criticizing you means that that it is a confirmation that you're not crazy. Let me say it to somebody. You are not crazy. You have locked in. You are convinced beyond the shadow of a doubt that this is going to pay off. While everybody else is doing their thing, you're studying, you're locking down, you're preparing yourself, you are empowering yourself, you are embellishing your gifts, your talents, your skill set. You are building yourself up every single day so that you are a better version of yourself today than you are yesterday. But you must understand that mediocrity always will attack anybody who has intentions of doing more. Watch this, than they're comfortable with you doing. Greatness is always going to be envied. It is only mediocrity that can boast of having a lot of friends. Now that's powerful because people will envy you because you want more. They will hold you in contempt because you're looking around your immediate circle and your immediate environment and deciding, well, since I got this kind of intelligence, and since I have been gifted with this kind of creativity, and since I have this kind of intelligence and educational prowess that I possess, I might as well be somebody great. I'm talking to you right now. I want you to make up your mind this day. I might as well be somebody great. It would be an absolute travesty for you to have the kind of skill, tenacity, fortitude, intelligence, communication skills, and you just simply do nothing more than assimilate to an average life. Keep saying to yourself, well, I'm doing the best I can. No, you're not. I believe you got more in you. That's who I believe I came to talk to on this day. People who have more in them. You just got thrown off kilter. You've gotten shaken up a little bit because things didn't necessarily go your way. Something arose in your life that was unexpected, that you weren't necessarily prepared for. And so the fatigue of it took a little wind out of you. But I want to tell you today, take your moment, breathe, and get back into the business of living. Get back into the business of thriving, not surviving, but thriving. Surpassing every goal, meeting every mile marker you set up for yourself, every dream that you have heard and seen in your heart and your spirit. It is absolutely yours, but you have to make up your mind. This day, I'm no longer going to be satisfied living a mediocre life. There's no way in the world. I mean, you have all that and you concluded that you're good enough is good enough. Come on. Come on. You're better than that. I'm looking at you right now and I want to say you're way better than that. And something in the back of your mind, that nebulous, indescript feeling has been telling you, you're better than this. You can get everything you deserve out of life if you get back in focus, if you become interested enough in improvement in many areas of your life. You never get to a point where you feel like I've reached the pinnacle of it. No. Every day is a day you're getting up trying to improve. What can I learn today? I tell people all the time, if you don't know any more today than you did yesterday, you cheated yourself out of time you can't get back. And so you had better decide that on this day, no longer am I going to take good enough as good enough. No longer am I going to expect out of me less than I know I am capable of producing. No. That day is over with because all you're doing, mediocrity says, is that it's an indication that I'm insulting the God-given mental capacity I have to achieve things that are beyond my wildest imagination. And as you are watching me right now, I want to tell you that from today on, you're getting ready to see significant results out of life. You're getting ready to see things just take a significant upturn for the better. I speak favor on your life. I speak supernatural success on you in absolutely every area of your life. There's no way you can lose. If you get up with that in your mind, I want you to understand victory is inevitable for you. There is no way you can lose. You got to practice that. Walk past your mirror. I walk past my mirror all the time and say, there's no way you can lose. No, no, no. You are prepared. You are studied. You are well versed. You got all the goods to do everything you want to do in this life. But at what point, I want you to ask yourself, at what point did I allow mediocrity to be an acceptable form of existence for me? At what point did I stop dreaming like I used to? At what point did I stop wanting what I used to want and said, well, I'll just take this. I'll settle for this. Your settling days are absolutely over. If you take these principles and you hear what I said to you this day, your life is going to change significantly for the better. Well, I'm out of time for this session. I hope you've gotten some out of this that you can use as arsenal to defeat that mindset of mediocrity that's been telling you, just settle into this. What you making a big deal over it for? Yeah, well, you got to look at yourself and say, well, I'm a big deal. Yeah, I'm a big deal. So I need to make big moves in this season of my life. Listen, don't forget to hit the share button. Don't forget to share this with as many people as you can, as many people that you believe needs to hear what I have said to you on this day. Don't forget, you can go back and replay it as many times as you can. And I know it's going to be a blessing to your life. Don't forget to go to my website, henrybolden.com. Go to my bookstore. There's some books and material there that I know are going to bless you and benefit you greatly. Don't forget, you can send me prayer requests, praise reports, questions, comments right there on the website, and I will absolutely respond to it, all right? Well, I'm out of time for now, but as I always say in part, and always remember, success has a formula, and I want to be the one that shows it to you. I'll see you next time.